Hello, here we are. Whenever I enter the Ngāhere or the forest here at Riverhaven, or any forest anywhere in Aotearoa, New Zealand, or any forest anywhere in the world, I always stop and announce who I am and why I've come at this particular time. And this is allowing one to pause before going into a new forest, a new meadow, a new field, a new garden, even the sand dunes on the seashore, and even walking amongst the rocks, to stand and announce yourself, to stand and say, this is me, and this is why I've come. And sometimes I feel that it's a good idea to leave all the baggage back there, where you've left your lunch and your hot drink. Just leave those back there. Don't bring your problems into the forest. Just put them on the back burner. Because if you go into the forest or other places and you start to talk about all the troubles and woes and the healings that you'd like to bring to yourself or to bring to loved ones, this is fine. But let this come a little later on. So first of all, it's so important to establish your connection within nature. As I said, whether it's the trees, whether it's the landscape, the stones, or the waters, or the oceans. Establish who you are. Now, the big secret here is that once you have announced yourself, and I do this with my eyes closed, and I say who I am, and then I'm listening with my eyes closed, and all my other senses are becoming finely tuned, and when I open my eyes, there is a clarity about me. And because I have been inward with my request, I'm hearing things at a different level. So this is the secret here, is where you stand still for as long as it takes until you recognize a response from within nature, a response which will come to you from where you're standing at that time. And the responses can be so amazing. Standing there, it just may be that suddenly a leaf will fall off the tree and it'll come down and fall near you. Is that a response? And then you may find in certain places that you've been standing just near a bank or a few stones, and there's a little spring there, and there's water dripping down the moss into a small pool, and you suddenly become aware of the drip, 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 drip of the water into the pool. It may be too that when you open your eyes and you're receptive, you look around, look at the treetops, look at the ground. You may see insects on the ground or on the trunks of the trees that you didn't see before. They are there. Here's a response. And looking into the trees and the branches, you may also see a bird that was sitting there the whole time. But it wasn't in song at the time, it was just sitting, looking at you, and now you are looking upon it. So once again, here is another indicator. And then often, in a given forest area, you will hear voices in the different distance rather. And these are voices which often appear to be like children's voices, high-pitched, full of laughter, full of joy. But you just may be in an area where there are no children around that you know of. There's no school parties there, there's no school camps. So where do these voices come from? Is this indeed you making a connection with the fairy realms? And in this land, Aotearoa, New Zealand, we call them the Patapaiarehe. Are we making contact with them? And then, of course, something which is incredible and can happen anywhere, in any enclosed space. And where you're standing, you may be quite sheltered from any breezes and any winds which may come through. And then suddenly, you're just aware of a breeze which comes whoosh around you. You can feel it. The air changes, and it's gone. The leaves haven't moved. but you have just felt the spirit of the place. And what we call in this land the wairua, the spirit elements. So, open yourself up to these possibilities. Then, you'll find the response is there. And also you're going to find that as you continue your journey through this magical place that you have entered, that when you come back to where you've left your lunch and your hot drink and all the woes of the world and all the prayers you want to offer, you'll find that they've already gone out. You'll find that some of the things that are persistently weighing heavily on your shoulders has been lifted and lightened. And the fact that you wish to send a healing to a loved one or a friend, just the very thought that you've done that has gone out to them. So always take the moment when you enter the place for the first time, or even again and again. Stop, say who you are, and also address the hidden realms. I always acknowledge what is around us. I acknowledge the trees. I acknowledge Papa Tuanuku, the Mother Earth. I acknowledge all the insects, seen and unseen. I acknowledge the birds. I also acknowledge the ancestors of the land, because they may still be there as spirit guardians. I also acknowledge the fairy realms, the realms of the owls and the gnomes, the realms of the Patapaiarehe and the Turehu. They're always there. And with these acknowledgements, you are binding yourself closer and closer to these areas. And then, of course, one of the most essential elements is to give thanks to the water. And sure, you may not be standing on the banks of a river or by a spring, but all the living things around you, there is water flowing up and down within the trunks and within the branches and the leaves, and even within you, with your 80% of water. Water is moving through your body, water in and water out. So we just give an acknowledgement to all the elements that help to make the environment in which we've stepped into, which all reflect exactly who we are as individuals. I thank you so much for being with me once again. I love you all so much. And until we meet and have another chat, tēnā lāk.